Trump's Asia tour, a real rare earth solution. Rare earth elements are a special group of 17 chemical elements. They have very useful qualities that we need for modern life. Some of them even have interesting names, like neodymium and europium. Many people think these elements are hard to find, but actually they are not super rare deep inside the Earth's crust. The real difficulty and the main reason for the big global arguments is how to turn the raw ore into something useful. This step is very hard, costs a lot of money, and can hurt the environment badly. Cleaning and refining the raw materials is where the biggest problems start. Why do these minerals matter so much? Simply put, they are like hidden treasures that help our high-tech world run smoothly. You can find rare earths in almost every electronic device you own. They are in your small cell phone, your family's big TV, and even in much larger, more important things. For example, they are inside electric car batteries, the giant magnets in wind turbines for clean energy, and even in the most advanced military jets and missiles. So any country that wants the best and newest technology must make sure it has a safe and steady supply of rare earths. Right now, China controls most of the world's processing of rare earths. This gives China a very powerful position. It also creates a big worry for countries like the United States, Japan, and many others. They do not want to wake up one day and suddenly lose access to these critical materials. That is why many people paid close attention to President Donald Trump's recent trip to Asia. They wondered, would this trip bring a real solution? President Trump's visit to Asia had two big goals, and these goals were closely connected. The first and most urgent goal was actually quite simple. He wanted to calm things down and stop the market from becoming too unstable, especially because of the trade tensions with China. After a very important meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, the two sides quickly made an announcement. They agreed to a kind of trade truce, which means a short-term peace in the trade fight. As part of this agreement, China officially said it would pause its new plan to limit the export of rare earth minerals for one whole year. In addition to that, China also promised to begin buying large amounts of American farm products again, especially soybeans. In return, the United States promised to lower some of the tariffs on certain Chinese products. This short-term deal gives American businesses and farms a little time to relax, think, and get ready for the future. But smart people say this is not a forever fix. It's just a short break, a time out in a long, hard game before the big problems come back. Because this peace with China will not last long, the second, smarter goal of Trump's Asia trip was to quickly build a new rare earth supply chain. This chain should work without depending on China. Many people believe this new plan is the real long-term solution, the big breakthrough that Western countries have needed for many years. The most important news came from the new plans to work with Japan, Australia, Malaysia, and Thailand. These countries are teaming up to make a strong and safe group for these critical resources. Among the group, Japan is definitely the key piece of the puzzle. It already has the technology to refine and process these rare earths. In addition to its technology, it is ready for any problem because it keeps a large stockpile of finished rare earth products, enough to last the country for several years. It is also remarkable that Japan has found a huge deposit of rare earths on the deep seabed, which is believed, in theory, to be able to supply the entire world for more than 100 years.
Australia is another important part of this new chain. It is especially important because it provides a lot of the raw materials, the newly mined ore. People say the quality of Australian rare earth minerals is the very best in the world. Another country worth mentioning is Canada. It is not part of this plan yet, but it has been a close friend of the United States. Canada has many rich rare earth resources and is working hard to build its own factories for processing and separating them. Soon, Canada could become an important part of this new diversified supply chain too. Malaysia and Thailand also have a lot of potential. They are taking big steps to become important players in this new rare earth network. The agreements signed during President Trump's trip are meant to connect all these different pieces together. Here's how the system is planned. Japan will share its refining technology, while Australia and its partners will supply the raw rare earth ores. Then countries like Australia and Malaysia will process the ores and turn them into the final usable products. If this new international cooperation really works well, and everything can move forward without big problems, then it could become a truly important breakthrough in the global rare earth market. It would mean that the United States and its friendly nations would no longer need to worry about China suddenly cutting off their supply of these vital materials. This kind of diverse plan would make their high-tech industries and defense stronger. Finally, we can also look back at things President Trump has done in the past and try to understand if they were connected to his search for resources. You might remember the time when people argued a lot about the U.S. publicly saying it was interested in buying Greenland, which belongs to Denmark. The U.S. also talked about getting special access to lands in Canada. These diplomatic ideas surprised many people at the time. People did not understand why they happened, but there is one clear fact. Greenland and some faraway places in Canada have a lot of important minerals. These minerals include rare earths, which are very valuable and hard to find. Because of this, many experts now think there was a bigger plan behind these ideas. They believed the real goal was to get safe and new sources of these important materials. Some people even guess that Mr. Trump had a very big dream. Maybe he hoped to build a huge power that reached across the oceans, almost like the idea of an Oceania. So, did President Trump's Asia trip completely solve the rare earth problem? The answer is no, at least not yet. But it did mark an important first step toward breaking the old system. Building a new and reliable supply chain will take time. Mining, building factories, refining, and processing rare earths cannot be done overnight. It is a long journey, and we will have to watch closely to see how everything develops. Still, one thing seems very clear. This rare earth puzzle will not stay locked forever. Sooner or later, the world will find a way to solve it, and this might be the beginning of that change.